Welcome everyone to the Moistski news for March the 29th, 2021. Today I would like to talk about some failings going on within Labour and the consequences of that. Before we even get into that though, on Friday I hosted a political recap stream with Trups LP on this channel. That stream has been refined a little and put on Spotify. If at all interested in supporting us there as well, please consider giving us a follow and listening. We'd greatly appreciate it. The link to our Spotify will be pinned as a comment down below. So since the current UK government has made tremendous progress with the rollout of the first and second doses of various COVID treatments, polls have concluded that things aren't looking so peachy for the Labour Party. Many attribute this to a lack of party position on key policies, but also because as opposition, it is hard to shine when the ruling party is kind of mostly doing really well. And I say kind of because there are a few politicians within the current government's cabinet that aren't doing so well. They'll do really well when this is all over, and they're on the back benches where they belong. Keir Starmer has been urged to appoint a big name, so not Jeremy Corbyn, as a way of boosting the team and proving that the party has ambition. This lack of ambition accusation has actually been proven when it came to people pointing out holes within their own version of the budget, and when they themselves tried to poke holes in Rishi Sunak's. More recently, they've lost the plot on corporation tax, and their own shadow business secretary, who has been championing electric cars, admits he doesn't even drive one, or own one. Bit weird. Many attribute the issues with Labour at the moment to Keir Starmer's own lack of experience, and so when he wants to unite the party, he's always going to struggle when it comes to more moderate left and far left, and this has caused much infighting. The head of Union Unite, Len McCluskey, who himself was a big backer of Jeremy Corbyn, believes that Labour's lack of authenticity is the reason Starmer is struggling. Because, and if anyone's seen PMQs, they will notice, he, like Corbyn, obsesses over one thing and doesn't focus on others. An example would be the NHS pay rise. Because he's focusing on that, he is being accused of being disingenuous and not focusing on bigger problems. Yes, NHS pay is an issue, I agree. But as any government, you have to focus on all issues. And also there's a belief that the NHS will get very big pay rises soon. It's just not something that was dealt with immediately. And if it is dealt with, then Keir Starmer then has nothing to complain about on that, meaning he's back to essentially square one, because, and already stated, much like his predecessor, obsessing over one thing makes you incredibly one-dimensional, and susceptible to criticism when no one has any idea what your other policies are. Len McCluskey's also accused Keir Starmer of not yet honouring his pledges he made when he was campaigning to lead Labour, being quoted as saying, "Focus groups show that at best his Labour Party is seen as dull, absent of convictions or presence, at worst opportunistic, only following the political wind after it has blown, rarely making the weather," continuing by saying turmoil engulfs constituencies at the sharp end of unwarranted and undemocratic interference from on high, just as we head to the biggest day of voting since the general election on May 6. Keir would have to be living in a cave to be unaware of the concerns about the direction or lack of it of his Labour Party, and the consequent disaffection this has caused in voters. The danger is that voters can smell it, an identity confusion, a lack of authenticity. They know that this is a party unsure about who it now is and who it now speaks for. So how does Keir Starmer fix this? Who's the big name he could have in his cabinet instead? Perhaps somebody that is a comfortable and capable public speaker, and who, by extension, must be sent away. Apparently the solution to this is the Chancellor, Annalise Dodds. The belief is that she has not performed very well, with many complaints being that she just simply sucks. I've gone with the less political because I can't be bothered to explain how she's utterly inept at her job. Who could, in fact, take over from her? The two being touted as suitable candidates would include Rachel Reeves and Lisa Nandy. Lisa Nandy would have been a fantastic leader of the Labour Party, and she is an ideal candidate if it comes to public speaking because it is one of the things she thrives at. And since Keir Starmer can't replace, for example, Angela Rayner, as she is selected by the people and not by himself, the next best thing would be to go for the Chancellor. But that makes total sense, doesn't it? The government does well on COVID, its approval rating goes up. I now blame the Chancellor for it. Okay, it's why the thumbnail is what it is. As we're done, I'd like to know what you think about this. Do let me know in the comments down below. Have a lovely day. Thank you all very much for listening.